The platform to hold the fridge and freezer is in, and the fridge and freezer themselves are in. All coming up on this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Well, out here again, trudging away this afternoon. Was going to either grind off or drill out those rivets that were holding that little piece in there with that little nub sticking out from the damper thing. But then when I was just about to pull out the tools for that, I was looking at it some more and I said, yeah, I could just notch that wood because this wood is not that important. It's just holding up that platform, and it's just so much easier and less sparks and trouble to do that. So I hauled the whole thing out and notched it and put it back in, and now it sets in just like it's supposed to. So there you can see the support for the platform that'll hold up the fridge and freezer is now in place, and there's my little notch down there. And that worked just fine. So it's thick enough wood. And the main reason I'm using this tall a board is simply just to make the riser that high above my seating area, which will be right here, so I can put a taller cushion in there. We want a big cushion, baby, for my butt. Thank you. Now time to measure and cut the painted board here, which will be the deck platform for the fridge and freezer. Okay, got the board cut to the right size. I put a little notch down here in the corner to hop around the big post. It still fits underneath that duct back there, which is good. I just did a simple angle cut for that back corner just to make it go around that. You're not going to see that anyway. Freezer is going to be in the front. It goes all the way up to the wall here. And like I said before, this vent will go up over the freezer. There it is, in place. Nice little painted board down there is my shelf. Like I say, you're really not going to see much of the paint on that, but I'm anal. I wanted it painted. Just as a different vantage point, sitting on the toilet right now. Don't worry, pants are up. Of course, there's my vent I put in the other night. My steps going up to the landing, which is up there. And now we have our platform in place, all ready to go. I'm just going to screw it down to the framing of it in a few spots, just for shits and giggles. Why not? And so there's where the fridge and freezer will go. If I come back a little bit, then you can see where the seating area is going to be, and where I'll have a lift-up hatch access, so that whenever I need to service or have somebody else service the APU, that can be done easily. All you got to do is move a couple cushions. All right, got the deck plate all screwed down in a few various locations there, so that's all ready to go. Remember, I do need to paint that front edge. I'll do that later tonight. All right, went ahead and got some paint on that front edge just to get that out of the way, make that a little bit easier. And I'm going to run in and get my wife and my youngest son Ben to help me out, as we're going to try hoisting the fridge and freezer up in here, and hopefully they'll fit. Well, went to go put the freezer and the fridge in, and as per usual ran into an issue. The little curved corner back there is keeping me from getting the freezer close enough to the back wall. I had the duct extension on there coming out that plastic section, but that was keeping it too low, so I ripped the whole damn plastic corner piece out. See, there it is, lying down there on the ground. I cut one little side of it right there and just tore that puppy out, baby. But here's the problem I still have. That little metal blue frame there is still in the way, so I need to find a way to cut that out. So I pull out the reciprocating saw. We're just going to see if we can slash that out, baby. Get rid of it. Okay, well, after I finally got that metal plate cut out with my reciprocating saw, which did an easy job of that. That was real nice. Got that out of there. Unfortunately, slashed one of my ducts. The duct extension that I wrestled with so long last night. So I essentially had to redo that. I had a method, at least, got it done. Then ran back in and grabbed my wife and son and said, all right, we're finally ready. I've got the freezer in place now. Help me hoist the fridge up into the truck. They did. We got it shoved in there, and boy, it barely fits, but that's kind of the way I wanted it to go, so it would have that built-in look. All right, they barely fit. Like I said, I've been doing this project down to the inch, and they barely fit in there, but they made it. I had to pull out that false facade in the corner in the back, a little piece of metal that was back there holding the vent up. Cut that out, and was able to finally get the freezer back in the corner far enough and close enough to that rear wall so that we could get the fridge in. But you see how it's just fitting in. I mean, I've measured this thing down to the inch. I'm going to vinyl wrap that upper board there, and the area above the freezer, I'm going to have a little extension coming down to hold that vent, and that'll be probably vinyl wrapped as well to match that, so that this will all have a nice built-in look for the fridge and freezer. Here's the view sitting from my driver's seat, all my tools and everything all over the steps and all that. You can see now how nicely the fridge and freezer sit on their little platform and fit right in place. It's a beautiful thing. Brought all my vinyl left over from the curtains. Remember, those used to be way up here that I said I never used, and that's how I've been wrapping all these boards and everything in the vinyl to give it a nice look. So, brought the rest up here so I can try to wrap the board up there, build a little extension down to hold the vent above the freezer, wrap that all in vinyl, and we're going to try to make that look real nice. Okay, also grabbed my power strip back there, and I went ahead and plugged the fridge and freezer in, and I ran the line down the side, snaked it down underneath to that box down there. I drilled a hole through the wall. It'll also run that 12-volt line that I rewired the other night through there onto the front side of the APU, and went ahead and plugged that into the inverter. Of course, I'm going to have a different inverter, but I wanted to make sure the fridge and freezer are going to work. And as I open the fridge, you can see, yes, the light's on, light is green, the trap is clean. So it's cooling down now. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we'll let it do its thing. No light in the freezer, so nothing to show you there. Okay, here's the board I cut a hole in. This is going to be for the vent to come through on the front side. I'm going to completely vinyl pad and vinyl wrap this board. And then my vent, like I say, will go in the front, and then that'll make it look like it's all professionally done that way. And this will just hang down in the area between the top of the freezer and that beam above. Going to put a little extension on the bottom of the beam for the fridge to just take out a little bit more of that airspace in there, and to give that more of that built-in look by covering the vinyl with that too. So, getting to all that now. Well, I'm in the process of getting that beam wrapped. It's above the fridge and freezer, so it'll look a little bit nicer. Tacking around that end was kind of hard. Those bolts were protruding a lot, so they're just going to have to look that way, and that's the way it's going to have to be. But I think that looks a lot nicer than just the exposed wood up there. And once I finish wrapping the back end there, then I'm going to hang up the little vent thing. I had to disconnect the vent again, which means I have to wrestle that back on so that I can get it through my board, which will also be vinyl wrapped. Trials and tribulations, baby. Alright, pretty much got that upper beam there wrapped in the vinyl. You know, as far as the upper section and like the front section of this one, there is going to be, like the paneling over there, there will be paneling up there for a ceiling. And there will be a light up there. That's all coming later. Now I've just got to wrap that board in vinyl and get the vent on it, get the duct back on the vent, and then we'll hang that in place. And that should be about it for tonight. Okay, got my new panel all vinyl wrapped, stapled in the back. It's padded even in the front to give it some extra texture and look and all that. So this will be the part that hangs above the freezer to kind of fill up that space. Now the hard part is working that frickin' duct back on there. Not looking forward to that. Alright, well, I'm calling it for tonight. Started today about 2 p.m. It is now, where's my watch? 1:28. I'm kind of done. I just stopped for dinner and that was about it. But fridge and freezer are in. Got the vent back in place over the freezer. Got that vinyl wrapped. There's going to be a ceiling up here, so it's going to hide a lot of what you're seeing there. So I think that basically gives it a built-in look. I'm pretty happy with it. The freezer and fridge are both running, and they're both doing fine. The freezer is freezy inside, the fridge is fridgy inside, so there you go. So yeah, that was an all-day project, but that's in. Interesting when you look at it now that the fridge and freezer are in. The toilet, that's been in for a while. About the only appliance or something you want to call it that's not in is the sink that'll go behind the toilet. That's just going to be a closet. That's going to be my seating area. Of course, the water tanks and water pump and all that have to be connected, but I think the fact that we've got the fridge and freezer in, that vent's in there in the back, I think that looks nice over the freezer. I think we're getting there, baby. Well, like I say, I'm about spent, but you know, that major stuff's done. The fridge and freezer's in, they work. We've got them kind of given a little bit of a built-in look and all that. Sorry, no Rusty in the opening or closing tonight. I tried to bring him out. He was hiding under the bed. He's like, yeah, I ain't going out there. So, can you blame him? I'll try to make sure I get Rusty in tomorrow's video. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe. Please like and comment if you'd like to. Get to your comments, usually within 24 hours while I'm doing this project. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty sleeping inside. Out. My lords, my ladies, and everyone else here not sitting on a cushion, I give you my liege, Ulrich von Liechtenstein. Rusty. Alright, there he is, the famous meatball dog. Run, Rusty, run! Rusty. What, you hear something? Smell something?